Just imagine that quiet spark in your chest. That little rush you feel when freshly made coffee hits your nose. That's not just caffeine calling. It's your brain lighting up like a slot machine that just hit jackpot. And here's the twist. The people who can't go a day without their cup aren't just addicted to the buzz. They're chasing something way deeper, something that coffee companies pray you'll never fully understand. Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal might change how you see that mug you're probably holding right now. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't another lecture about caffeine dependency. We're going past the surface level stuff, past the "don't talk to me before my coffee" jokes, and diving into the actual psychological wiring that turns a simple beverage into a personality trait. Picture this. You wake up early in the morning. Your eyes aren't even fully open yet, but your feet are already carrying you toward the kitchen. Before you pick your phone, before you say good morning to anyone, you're reaching for that freshly made coffee maker. Sound familiar, right? Here's what's actually happening in your brain during that moment. Coffee doesn't just wake you up, it hijacks your reward system in the exact same way that gamblers get hooked on poker machines. Every sip triggers a dopamine release, and your brain starts building what psychologists call a conditioned response. Eventually, just the smell, just the sound of beans grinding becomes enough to kickstart that chemical reward. You're not just drinking coffee anymore, you're performing a ritual that your brain has coded as survival. But it goes even deeper than neurochemistry. Think about the last time you had a genuinely good conversation with a loved one. Chances are coffee was somewhere in that scene, right? Maybe you were sitting across from someone at a cafe, or maybe you were clutching a to-go cup while walking with a friend. Coffee has become the social glue that gives us permission to pause, to connect, to meet new people, and to be present. Without it, asking someone to just talk feels almost naked, vulnerable, and perhaps ashamed. The coffee is the excuse, the prop, the thing that makes the interaction feel casual instead of intense. And here's where it gets really interesting. For some people, coffee obsession isn't about energy, it's about control. Life feels chaotic. Your inbox is exploding, your responsibilities are stacking up, everything feels like it's moving too fast. But that morning coffee, that's your survival. That 3-minute ritual of brewing, pouring, that first sip, that morning smell, it's the one thing you get to control before the world starts making demands. It's a tiny island of predictability in an ocean of uncertainty. Some psychologists even argue that coffee culture has replaced traditional meditation practices for an entire generation. Think about it. You're forced to slow down, to wait for the brew, to cup something warm in your hands, to focus on a single sensory experience. It's mindfulness disguised as productivity. We've convinced ourselves we're getting ready to work, but really we're giving ourselves permission to just be for a few minutes. Now let's talk about identity. When did coffee stop being just a drink and start being a whole personality? You've got people who will drive past 3 perfectly good coffee shops to get to their place. People who own 17 different brewing devices. People whose entire aesthetic revolves around vintage espresso machines and minimalist ceramic mugs. This isn't just preference, it's tribal belonging. Coffee culture creates micro-communities where people can feel sophisticated, discerning, like they're part of something that others just don't get. It's the same psychological mechanism that drives people to become obsessed with craft beer, vinyl records, or artisan bread. It's not really about the product, it's about the identity it lets you construct. It says, I care about quality, I have refined taste, I'm not like everyone else who just drinks whatever. And here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to admit. Coffee obsession often masks deeper emotional needs. That person who can't function without their morning cup, they might actually be avoiding the harder truth that they're exhausted, burned out, running on empty in ways that no amount of caffeine can fix. The coffee becomes a band-aid, a way to keep pushing when your body and mind are screaming for actual rest. There's also this darker element we rarely discuss, the way coffee culture glamorizes being perpetually tired. We've turned exhaustion into a badge of honor. I need coffee to survive really means I'm working too hard, sleeping too little, and barely keeping it together. But we've packaged that struggle as quirky and relatable, instead of deeply concerning. The coffee industry profits from your burnout while making you feel like you're part of an exclusive club. The people who are truly obsessed with coffee aren't just chasing caffeine, they're chasing comfort, routine, belonging. control. And yes, sometimes they're running from things too. They're using those few minutes of brewing and sipping to create a buffer between who they were when they went to sleep and who they need to become when they step out the door. So next time you catch yourself saying you need your coffee, pause for just a second. Ask yourself what you're really needing. Is it the caffeine? Or is it the permission to take a breath, the feeling of being part of something, the comfort of a ritual that's entirely yours? Because once you understand what coffee is actually doing for you psychologically, you get to make a real choice. You can keep the ritual, modify it, or maybe, just maybe, you'll realize you were strong enough all along to face the day without it. The question isn't whether you love coffee. The question is, what is coffee replacing, and are you okay with that? That's the psychology behind the obsession. If this got you thinking differently about that cup in your hand, let me know in the comments what your real relationship with coffee looks like. And hey, maybe share this with that friend who literally cannot have a conversation before their third espresso. They need to see this. Thank you for staying to the end. See you in the next video.